What's up? It's Cory, and it's time we talk about one of the most important issues defining America, immigration. Whoa, who are you? I'm kind of in the middle of something here. Why does this keep happening?
My name's Yroc from planet Bebop. I don't mean to be rude, but I was on an intergalactic cruise when I passed by Earth and saw all the views. So many gorgeous creatures and so many different foods. Can I stuff my face before I return to outer space? I'm even willing to learn if you got time to burn.
Well, if you're willing to learn, I know a spot. If you've ever been to a bodega, you might be familiar with the chopped cheese sandwich. Here, try one, the Aki way.
Delicious. Nutritious. A little bit sloppy. Hey, what's an Aki?
Aki is Arabic for brother, a nod to the origins of the chopped cheese. This fusion of American, Yemeni, Latine cuisine was invented at a corner store in New York City run by Yemeni-Americans like the one here in Lackawanna.
I know Yemen. As I passed by your planet, I saw it on the other side of the axis.
Yeah, that's right. Located on the southern edge of the Arabian Peninsula. Yemen's roots go back to ancient times, from its history of powerful women like the Queen of Sheba to the Middle Ages when Yemeni farmers and merchants introduced coffee from Ethiopia to the world. Today, the United States is home to over 100,000 Yemeni Americans, largely in major cities in New York State, Michigan, Illinois, and California.
I was on my way to Uranus, but this planet's potential is limitless. I've never tasted anything better. Can I stay here and eat chopped cheese forever?
Well, it's complicated. Visiting is one thing, but there are laws about who can stay here forever and how. As a country of settlers opposed to indigenous nations that are native to the land, early American leaders needed to decide who gets to be an American citizen. Although the Constitution and Bill of Rights doesn't define citizenship, the founders agreed to implement jus soli, the right of the soil, meaning that for the most part, to be an American citizen, you had to be born here.
Aw, darn. I was born afar in another star.
Hold on. Now, they quickly realized that we need to embrace people who were born elsewhere. That process is known as naturalization. In simple terms, if an immigrant lives here for several years and pledges allegiance to America, then they naturally can take an oath of citizenship.
Oh, can I become naturalized? Or do I have to look a certain way?
Or be a certain size.
It's complicated.
What do you mean complicated? It's a yes or no question. How come you hesitate?
Does everyone from Bebop rhyme like that?
What's a rhyme? I talk like this all the time.
I like that. It's complicated because immigration laws are constantly changing. The first law only allowed for free white people to become naturalized. This law also established jus sanguinis, meaning the right of blood. Basically, children of parents who are American citizens should also be American citizens. But again, only if they were white.
Well, that's pretty tragic. Don't y'all share this planet? Or have you not reached the evolution to see that prejudice is not the solution? What do looks have to do with who's here on the books?
Citizens have certain rights that non-citizens don't, like the right to vote and run for office. And many early American colonists who were white, Anglo-Saxon, Protestant feared the influence of other cultures and ideas that weren't like their own. But not everyone was afraid. President Thomas Jefferson, for example, believed that America should embrace anyone who wants to live here and wishes our country well.
That makes sense. Now cut the suspense. Did things ever change to embrace the full human range of unique names and mind frames?
Congress, our elected leaders, began shifting with the Immigration Act of 1864, also known as the Act to Encourage Immigration. It was passed just as slavery was being abolished. Coincidence? Nope. This was the industrial era. And because immigrants don't have the same rights as citizens, corporations pushed for open immigration to hire underpaid labor to work the farms, mines, railroads, steel plants, and factories.
So there's a major association between labor and immigration?
Ah, you're getting it. But people migrate for all kinds of reasons, not just work. Think about it. Some folks are pushed out of their homes due to wars, famine, oppression, and other disasters. Or they can be pulled here in pursuit of opportunities, education, and the promise of freedom. Now, knowing these push and pull factors can help you understand why immigration patterns change over time.
I appreciate the suggestion. Will you please answer my question?
will your country accept me? Coming from a different galaxy? I'm down to work first. I'll give you my shirt. I'll get a job. Grilling kebabs, corn on the cob. I could be a heartthrob. Nowadays, you could, but it's tough. Back in the day, it was even worse. For instance, the 14th Amendment, right, finally established that all people born in the States have the right to the soil. Also, the Naturalization Act of 1870 finally gave citizenship rights to the folks of African descent. But laws like the Chinese Exclusion Act were also passed, banning Chinese immigrants from coming here. Folks born in Asia and other non-white ethnicities were blocked from naturalization, no matter how long they lived and worked here. Laws establishing quotas, limits on how many people from certain countries could immigrate to America, were also passed based on the ideas that people from non-European backgrounds might damage our country's character. Your country's character? So, does your country have a face? Is it a person or a place? Yroc, that is one of the key questions behind how open our borders should be. The Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965 ultimately decided that the U.S. shouldn't ban immigrants simply because they were born in Asia. President Lyndon Johnson said that this law corrects a cruel and enduring wrong
in the conduct of the American nation.
It shifted our priorities for immigration from race to skill, reuniting families and giving refuge to people escaping war and tragedy. Y'all flip-flop a lot. Is this where it stops? Or was there another plan to pass another ban on folks coming to this land? Yeah, well, let's take it back to chopped cheese for a second and how it got here. Western New York was once an industrial powerhouse with access to the Great Lakes, Niagara Falls hydroelectric energy. Cities like Lackawanna and Buffalo were leaders in manufacturing steel and shipping grain. In the 1940s, Lackawanna Steel was taken over by Bethlehem Steel Company, which went on to build over 1,000 ships for World War II. The skeletons for most of Manhattan's skylines, the Golden Gate Bridge, the Peace Bridge, all of this right here. Rocky, please. What's this got to do with chopped cheese? Oh, stay with me. This was the golden age for Buffalo, attracting workers from the Americas, Amsterdam, to Yemen and beyond. But Yemen is in Asia. And as I mentioned earlier, Asians weren't allowed to become citizens. And the quota only accepted 100 Yemenis each year until the Immigration Act of 1965 allowed Yemenis to bring their families here and thrive. See? I'm slick and I catch on quick. That's right. But sadly, Bethlehem Steel shut down in the 80s. Across America, the manufacturing decline forced people to find new avenues for work. As newcomers, Yemenis faced discrimination which kept them out of the labor unions and made it difficult to find jobs. So, they stuck together, pooling their resources and buying up small stores in major cities in order to employ themselves and take charge of their own lives.
My name is Abraham Aji, and I'm originally from Yemen. My grandparents came here and they wanted to have a better life. My grandfather, he was a steel worker for quite some time. And then later on, he was able to save enough money to buy a store for his family and then was able to pass it on to his children. Now, it wasn't easy. He had to go through a lot of struggles and language definitely was a barrier. But we managed to make it through and I'm thankful. Now we're able to go to school and persevere and reach our goals. But I do come back from time to time to help out if I can. I don't forget where I came from because that's what made me who I am today.
I'm beginning to understand. And as I scan New York and the thousands of corner stores, I see around half of the owners are Yemeni. It's incredible. From folks like Naji Defala, a labor organizer killed for leading a fight for workers' rights in California, to Yemenis today maintaining grocery stores in food deserts, feeding their neighbors during the COVID-19 pandemic. The influence of the Yemeni community far outweigh their size. But in 2017, a man with a plan passed a ban. Executive Order 13679 prevented Yemenis from immigrating here, along with 6 other predominantly Muslim nationalities. Oh no, bro, whoa! The ban was protested heavily, contested in court, and fortunately, It was reversed in 2021 by another executive order. But it goes to show how delicate immigration is. Between concerns about undocumented migrants crossing our southern border to the fear of international conflict, Americans lately depend on presidents to decide how welcoming we are. People who dream of becoming American, many of whom have been on wait lists for years, are at the mercy of these laws.
So, one person in the White House can decide if I'm in or out? Even if I open up a store, open up my heart, and gave them some more? Somebody can shut that door and keep my family away from these shores. You know, I like it here a lot. But for now, I'm heading back to Bebop. Get it together!
Well, it's actually up to you. One day, you'll be able to vote for what you believe in. Are you concerned about immigrants taking jobs or changing America? Or do you like sharing our country with folks from around the world? While these are questions up for debate, one thing is for certain. Immigrants don't just have the potential to assimilate. They can integrate, fusing the best parts of their culture with our own. Whether it's chopped cheese or pizza, video games, karaoke, pad thai, music, burritos, anime, even cafes, many of the things we enjoy most trace their origins beyond our borders. And having neighbors from all over the world makes us stronger, smarter, and much more of a loving place. So remember, history surrounds you and includes you. So go ahead, make history. And maybe someday I'll be telling your story right here on Compact History.